I do. Remember, I'm a Putin puppet, so I got the secret microphone. No, American goal in getting rid of Zelensky is to bring this war to a rapid closure.
Why would the Americans want to do that? That would be a change in policy, because the Americans think this war is going pretty well. I mean, it's relatively inexpensive for the Americans, not for the Europeans, but for the Americans, it's relatively expensive, and it's painful for the Russians. Why would the Americans want to bring it to an end?
Nobody in America wants this war to continue, because some things are about to happen. Russia's about to go on the offensive, and this is what we're going to get into when we talked about the 96 dead, probably more once they pull all the bodies out. In School 19, let's focus on some realities. Let's just be clear right now. If Biden wanted Zelensky to win, he'd have sent not 2 Patriot batteries, but 5 Patriot batteries, and they would have been sent months ago. If we wanted Zelensky to win, if Biden wanted Zelensky to win, we'd be twisting the arm of Germany to provide Leopard tanks. There would be tens of thousands of Ukrainian forces at Grafenwohr right now in Germany being trained on advanced armored fighting techniques using the most advanced NATO equipment possible to get them on the battlefield to engage the Russians decisively if we wanted them to win. We tried that. And yeah, it succeeded in Kharkov being recaptured. It succeeded in the right bank of Kherson, Kherson being recaptured. But that's it. Now they're all dead. Now all the equipment's gone. As Zaluzhny said, I need 300 tanks. I need 500 armored fighting vehicles. I need 500 artillery pieces. Why do you need those? We already gave them to you. Oh, everything we gave you is gone. You blew it. You had your little Pyrrhic victory. You got to have a headline for a day. Zelensky got to walk through Izium and go, hey, I'm the liberator of Izium. He got to take a selfie in Kherson. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that Izium and Kherson are going to belong to Russia in the not so distant future. Why? It's simple military math. It's called burn rate and replenishment rate. The Ukrainian burn rate is unreal. They are burning through manpower and equipment at unsustainable rates. Bakhmut has been called the meat grinder for a reason. Ukrainian forces are going in there. They're suffering 80-90% casualties before being rotated out with a new unit coming in. Now, that doesn't mean that the Russians aren't suffering casualties. They are, but not on a level. The burn rate for the Ukrainians is gigantic. The burn rate for Russia, not so much. The replenishment rate, because if you have a large burn rate, you need an even larger replenishment rate. But the Ukrainian replenishment rate is smaller than their burn rate, meaning they're burning through men and equipment at a rate more accelerated than what can be replaced. If your burn rate is say 800 men a day, and you in 10 days you lose 8,000. That's 10 days. And if NATO says we can train 8,000 troops in 3 months, George, I'm not a mathematician, but I'll tell you right now, that's an equation that will never balance out. And that's the fact. NATO can't train Ukrainian troops quick enough to replace the casualties on the battlefield. And NATO has already shown, in the United States, demonstrated that they don't have the equipment, or they're unwilling to give the equipment to Ukrainians to replace that which has been destroyed. Meanwhile, Russia still hasn't finished its mobilization of 300,000. The final 125, 150,000 or so are finishing the final touches on their combat preparations, where they have been organized into combat units. The reservists that made their way, these were battlefield replacements. They went in, they beefed up the defensive lines, they've solidified, and look at the stability all along on the line right now. There's no major Ukrainian breakthroughs. The Ukrainians are beating their head against a brick wall. The Russians are stabilized.
Let me interrupt you here for a second. First of all, for our viewers, Scott froze up there a little bit, but the audio was fine, as you just noticed there.